Is the housing market slowing down, or is it finally starting to find its balance? Hey there, Apryle Borst here with Arizona Best Real Estate, here with your monthly market update for June 2026. Now, if you're like a lot of people, you might be wondering what the second half of 2026 is going to bring, right? Like, are the homes going to sell? Are prices going to go up? Are mortgage rates going to come down? And maybe the biggest question of all is, where is the housing market headed next? Well, let's go ahead and break down what's happening both nationally and, of course, how it compares here in Arizona. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the year, a lot of experts were expecting 2026 to be a much stronger housing market. They thought that the mortgage rates would be lower by now, affordability would improve faster, and that home sales would pick up a little more quickly than they have. But that's not exactly what happened, is it? I mean, the mortgage rates have stayed higher than a lot of people hoped that they would. Affordability is still a challenge for a lot of buyers, and not to mention the uncertainty in the economy. Well, that has made some people cautious. But here's what's interesting. Despite all of that, existing homes have actually increased for the second month in a row and had their strongest month last month in May. And I think that's telling us something, right? Because people are still buying homes. They're doing it a little differently than they were a few years ago. And rates are still sitting in the mid 6% range. Now, while that's not where a lot of people hope that they would be, believe it or not, they are actually lower than they were a year ago. And that's helping some buyers get back into the market. But at the same time, inventory has continued to increase. And that's important because for the first time in a long time, buyers are actually starting to absorb some of that inventory. In fact, homes nationally are selling about the same pace that they were a year ago, even with more homes on the market. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that the market is still moving. It's just moving a little differently. So let's go ahead and compare that to Arizona. Now, here in Arizona, we're seeing many of the same trends. And honestly, if you've been watching my market updates over the last few months, none of this is probably going to be a huge surprise. Like I've been saying, buyers still have more choices. There's more inventory, and buyers are taking more time to make decisions. And that's still all true. But what we're also seeing are homes are taking a little bit longer to sell than they were a month ago. And we're also continuing to see price reductions as sellers compete for buyers. But here, what is different? The market feels like it's starting to find its balance. Buyers are getting a little more breathing room. Sellers are actually adjusting their expectations. And both sides are starting to adapt to where the market is today instead of where it was a few years ago. Now, does that mean that buyers suddenly have all the power? No, not necessarily. Does it mean that sellers can't sell their homes? Absolutely not. Look, homes are still selling every single day, but the market is requiring a little bit more strategy and a little more patience from everyone involved. And honestly, that might not be a bad thing, because one thing I think that is important to remember is that, well, first of all, life doesn't stop because mortgage rates are higher, right? I mean, people are still getting married, getting divorced, families are growing, kids are moving out, people are retiring or getting new jobs, or maybe people are just wanting to be closer to family. So even though the market has changed, life hasn't stopped. And that is one of the biggest reasons we're still seeing people buy and sell homes every single day. Now, buyers, what does this mean for you? Well, honestly, opportunities still exist. And believe it or not, some sellers are starting to adjust. They're becoming a little bit more flexible. They're paying attention to what's happening in today's market. And in many cases, they're a lot more willing to work with buyers than they were a year or two ago. And even in some cases, even a few months ago. So while rates might not be exactly where we hope they'd be, buyers are still finding opportunities with sellers who are willing to work with them. And that's where having the right strategy can make all the difference. Now, sellers, what does this mean for you? Well, honestly, not much has changed from what I've been saying the last few months. You need to pay attention to the market and what is happening around you. Because as you know, there is a lot of inventory out there, and buyers are still paying attention. They're comparing your home with price, condition, location, and overall value. So if you're selling, the question isn't going to be, what can I sell my home for? It's going to be, why would a buyer choose my home over all the other homes that they're looking at? Because you do have competition, and that's where having the right strategy and the right agent matters. You need someone who's helping you look at not only what homes have sold for, but what your competition looks like right now and what makes your home stand out. How do we position it better than the other homes on the market? What is the marketing? What does it look like? Because the homes that are selling are the ones that have a good strategy. And believe it or not, some of them are even still receiving multiple offers. Now, like I always say, especially in this market, you need a strategy, and you need an agent who's good at helping you figure out what strategy makes the most sense for your situation. So what's the takeaway here? Well, the market isn't slowing down and it's not speeding up either. It's finding its balance. So if you're thinking about buying or selling and have questions or what a really great strategy, or maybe you just would like to know what's happening in your local market, call, text, or message me. That's what I'm here for. Again, I'm Apryle Borst. No pressure, no confusion, just real answers. And I will see you next month for your next monthly market update. Thanks. Bye.